Happy Thursday, everybody. Today is November 12th, and before this rain, we'd been enjoying some unseasonably warm fall weather on campus. Thanks for joining me for this week's briefing. On Tuesday, Maryland's governor reinstated some previous COVID-19 precautions in response to rising positivity rates in Maryland and in the nation. These included strongly discouraging indoor gatherings of more than 25 people and advising against traveling to states with positivity rates over 10% or states with high new case rates. Governor Hogan's work-from-home mandate for state employees does not apply to employees of the University System of Maryland or Salisbury University, but our Human Resources Department is working with supervisors across the campus to see if we can identify additional opportunities for employees to work from home. If you are preparing to travel for Thanksgiving, please factor these restrictions and similar orders in other states into your plans. If you live in one of SU's residence halls and plan to stay on campus during the break, you must inform the housing office immediately because the residence halls will be locked and students planning to stay will be relocated to Dogwood Village during the break. Don't be left out of this. As the governor noted, Maryland still has a low caseload compared to the rest of the country, and SU has a low caseload compared with the rest of the state. As you know, we have invested in and refined our own testing and contact tracing infrastructure, which puts us in a good position to be prepared to return after Thanksgiving and for spring semester. We do all of this in collaboration with the Wicomico County Health Department. Of course, the situation is subject to change at any time based on conditions in the county or the state, but our plan is to return after the Thanksgiving break to finish out this semester. And so far, with the cooperation of everyone in our campus community, we have been able to carry out our plans. Thank you. We've heard from students interested in COVID-19 testing before the break to better ensure the safety of their families before they travel home. You can still sign up to be tested on November 23rd at SU. Be sure to do it now. You'll get the best available test and you'll have the result in less than 48 hours. But remember, testing doesn't protect you from the virus. It only gives you a snapshot of your health at the time that the test was administered. The best way to ensure that you're negative before visiting family is to self-isolate yourself for 2 weeks prior. Staying in your residence hall, room, or apartment as much as possible now is the best way to responsibly prepare to travel later. After Thanksgiving, all students, faculty, and staff must schedule an SU-administered COVID-19 test for the week of November 30th in order to be cleared to return to campus. Sign up for your online reservation now. Those who previously signed up for tests on Sunday or Monday of that week are receiving cancellation notices. You'll need to reschedule your tests for between December 1st and December 4th. This is based on guidance from the university health team regarding typical incubation periods. Testing was pushed back further to better ensure that we are able to detect positive cases. We apologize for the inconvenience. Also, after Thanksgiving, those who have tested positive for COVID-19 in the past 90 days will no longer be exempt from SU's policy that requires COVID-19 testing every 30 days to maintain campus access. So the 90-day exemption is now a 30-day exemption. This policy change follows ongoing research regarding immunity and increases in positivity rates throughout the nation. Anyone testing positive a second time within 90 days of their first positive test will be evaluated on a case-by-case basis to determine whether additional isolation or quarantine are necessary. I am very happy that our positivity rate continues to remain low, even as we have conducted increasing number of tests in recent weeks. I will tell you that through our contact tracing, we have been able to track most of our positive cases to social gatherings that violate state guidelines and university policies. Please take the responsibility to avoid these events and report them on our coronavirus webpage whenever you find out about them. It is our responsibility to protect each other and to take the proper precautions so that we can remain on campus for the rest of the semester. This includes continuing to wear face masks, maintaining social distance, washing your hands often, and again, avoid large gatherings. This is not the time to let our guard down against COVID-19. We must be more vigilant than ever in our efforts. Last week, Governor Hogan emphasized that the single most important thing you can do is to always wear your mask in the presence of other people, especially indoors. To quote the governor, "Just wear the damn mask." Okay, a couple of other campus updates. Thank you again to our students who are participating in the big event community cleanup this Saturday. I really appreciate you helping our university neighbors. I'm also proud of our campus community for engaging in constructive dialogue surrounding the outcome of the presidential election. I applaud our Institute for Public Affairs and Civic Engagement, PACE, and others who have led discussions, and I look forward to civil discourse as we move into the final weeks of the semester. Okay, at this time, I will take your questions. Eli, what questions have come in?
Thanks, Dr. Wight. The first question goes back to Governor Hogan's renewed precautions around COVID-19. The question is, will Salisbury University send students home based on the governor's new recommendations?
No. Our plan is to return after Thanksgiving and finish out the remainder of the semester in the same mode that we've been working on for the semester so far. Now, the situation could change at any time. The caseloads across the country are on a big upswing. So the virus could get out of control and we might have to change that. But our plan right now is to return after Thanksgiving and finish out the remainder of the semester.
Dr. Wight, I think you addressed this during the briefing, but could you talk about exit testing as students and employees leave for Thanksgiving and winter breaks?
Yes, this is actually important, and I kind of skipped over this pretty quickly, but there are students and others who are planning to travel to visit family or friends over the break, and they're concerned about the possibility of taking virus from here to family and friends elsewhere. If you are concerned about this, or if you just want to test, you can still schedule a test for November 23rd before the Thanksgiving break. And your result will come back in less than 48 hours, and you will have the information that you need to be confident of going home without spreading the virus. Of course, you have to self-isolate as well, because the test only gives you a snapshot of your health. But you can still schedule a test for November 23rd. If you get tested before Thanksgiving break, this does not remove the requirement to get tested after Thanksgiving break. So you still have to schedule a test for the period between December 1st and December 4th. That's to make sure that all of our campus community is healthy after the break. So both the before the break is optional, it's up to you. After the break is mandatory.
Thanks, Dr. Wight. This is another question about those post-Thanksgiving break tests. If I was scheduled for November 30th and it was canceled because that's no longer a testing date, why is that being canceled? Why are tests being canceled on the first full day back after Thanksgiving?
Yeah. Again, I apologize for the inconvenience. I had scheduled my own test for November 30th. And our health advisory team took a look at the best science around incubation rates. And they decided that if you got exposed for some reason on Sunday of Thanksgiving break and then had a test on Monday, we might not be able to catch that because there wouldn't be enough incubation period. But waiting to do the tests until Tuesday actually gives us a higher level of confidence that we would catch all of the people who were inadvertently exposed over Thanksgiving break. So we canceled the tests on Sunday and Monday, And the testing period for the week after Thanksgiving break is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, December 1st through 4th.
Dr. Wight, if testing starts on December 1st, will students and employees be allowed back on campus prior to getting their test or getting their test results?
Students and employees will be allowed back on campus for that 1 week of the testing following Thanksgiving break. But your ability to be cleared to come to campus the following week will depend on getting a negative result for that test. So you must get a test December 1st through 4th.
Will sophomores be permitted to live off campus for the 21-22 academic year if they would prefer to do so?
There are some circumstances under which sophomores would be exempted from the residential housing requirement. The best thing to do is to contact the housing office and apply for that when the opportunity becomes available, and we'll see whether you can be exempted from that requirement.
Another question about testing dates. How do you go about posting dates, and does this change?
Unfortunately, the testing dates always change. We are doing all of the testing with university employees and health professionals, and so we change dates based on demand and based on requirements, and so unfortunately it is a little bit fluid, but we almost always have tests available on Monday. And if you go to the coronavirus testing information page, there's a link there to the scheduling process where you can see all the dates that are currently available to you. And so what I'd encourage you to do is just go on the testing information page, go to schedule a test, and you'll be able to see which dates are available to you.
And Dr. Wight, just to clarify, while the days change, there's only been one time where a date has been posted and that people have actually had to reschedule.
Yeah,
right?
That was this Sunday and Monday before, right immediately after the Thanksgiving break. Yeah.
Could you talk about the status of athletics and the shutdowns of the programs recently?
Sure. It sometimes happens that a student athlete, just like any other student, may test positive. And student athletes are engaging in activities that are somewhat riskier than most other students. That's why we test them weekly instead of every 30 days. And so occasionally it becomes necessary to cancel practice or activities for student athletes to make sure that everybody is as healthy as they need to be to continue activity. This is done in an overabundance of caution for the safety and well-being of our students.
Could you talk about why students and employees can't do walk-up testing?
Sure. So the testing process requires very close coordination between Salisbury University and the University of Maryland, Baltimore, where the tests are processed. And so we have to have people make reservations for a test and send that list to UMB before the test samples arrive in order to be processed. So it's really important that people schedule a test before actually coming to campus to Court Plaza to get the test. We have to have your paperwork in order. We have to be able to label your sample properly. We have to have informed UMB that it's coming, and then we have to send it. So all of this requires a very close level of coordination, which means that walk-up testing, unfortunately, is not often an option.
Dr. Wight, you talked about this a little bit at the beginning as it related to Thanksgiving, but can you confirm that testing will also be offered before the winter break in December?
Testing will be available before the winter break, so anytime we're going to send large numbers of students or employees away from campus, we will have testing. In fact, you can schedule a test any day or every day that you want. And so we want to make sure that you're safe and your families are safe and your friends are safe. So yes, you will have the opportunity to have a test before the winter break.
Thanks, Dr. Wight. Those are all the questions we have today.
All right, that's it for today. Thank you all for your continued commitment to finishing our semester. Stay safe, Seagulls.